I'm Ram, I'm the co-founder and CEO of Router Protocol. I'm going to talk about the present and future of blockchain. So, in my very short presentation, I'm going to talk about how blockchains are an interconnected ecosystem and how the current iterations are all very rudimentary. And then we'll talk about the architecture of the current bridges, some shortcomings, and we'll talk about how the whole bridging landscape will change in a few years, right? And towards the end, I'm going to show router, of course, talk about router, where we came from, where we're going to, etc. All right. So, I think just to set the context, blockchains are fundamentally like cities, right? You have New York, London, you have all these beautiful cities, and Ethereum is the primary city. It's a very exciting city, very attractive city, but a lot of people go there, so it's congested, right? So now you have a situation where other folks try to build other cities, other N1s, and then you have other N2s coming up like Arbitrum and Optimism and Polygon, which are sort of complementary to Ethereum. So what you have now is a fragmented ecosystem, right? And when you have all these cities, you have all their distinct communities, distinct vibes, and you want to have the ability to sort of go between these cities, right? So that's where interoperability is important. That's why cross-chain bridges are important, right? Given the need for communication between these various cities, there is a big need for cross-blockchain infrastructure, right? And that's how bridges came in as a solution. That's why they've been on the rage for the last couple of years, right? So quick show of hands, how many of you have actually used a bridge? Very quickly. 1, 2, 3, 4, not bad. 5 people have used a bridge, okay. Now the issue with the current iteration of bridges, right? I mean, there's a bunch of, you don't need me to tell you, there is a bridge hack every week. Close to $1 billion have been lost in cross-blockchain exploits, right? And there is, a lot of that is because there's been a lot of focus on aggregating a vanity metric called TVL, right? A lot of bridging protocols aggregate TVL on their bridges for no rhyme or reason. And I'll come to why there's no reason. The other key feature with current bridges, they are not completely decentralized. They're a spectrum between centralization and decentralization, but they're not completely decentralized, right? And there have been a few design trade-offs in the current iteration of bridges, right? I mean, the first one is, of course, capital inefficiency. I mean, you look at Stargate or any of these guys, they'll have 2 billion in TVL, 3 billion in TVL, right? And you look at the volume of transactions each day, it's going to be 20 mil, 30 mil. I mean, show of hands, right? Early on, there were 5 people who actually used a bridge in a room of, I don't know, 50 guys, 20 guys. Right? So there's also an institutional use case, but from retail perspective, it's still a growing field. Right? So capital inefficiency is a key feature currently. The way these chains are designed, right? I mean, there's a lot of code redundancy. There is no scope for application-specific bridging logic. So there's no middle there at all. Every bridge is its own way of solving these things. And there are security throughput trade-offs, right? I mean, you have optimistic bridges that take a week to clear. You have POA bridges that have a very limited validator set because you can't scale the number of validators because that increases time, that increases cost, right? And then you could have an Oracle-based bridge, but then that introduces a third-party dependency, which could get corrupted, right? So you have those trade-offs. And then I guess the most important thing is we're still living in the hangover of the early days of DeFi, right? I mean, it's still very easy for a bridge to launch a token, start a DGen mining program, and build a lot of TVL. And what happens, after a while, the DGen starts selling those tokens, and then the protocol value just goes down, all the TVL vanishes. Right? So these are some of the structural constraints and realities of bridges as they are today, right? I mean, this is an interesting statistic, right? We compared utility across Texas versus utility across bridges, right? And as you can see, the big bar there is Uniswap, right? I mean, it's got an efficiency of close to 200%, meaning for every dollar locked up as TVL and Uniswap, there is $2 of trades happening. Now you compare that to the bridges on the left side, you have less than 5% efficiency, right? That means that for every $100 of TVL, you have less than $5 of bridging volume, right? So, clearly the first version of bridging of Texas was very similar to this, right? So you have, so in the sense that you would have at some level these bridges are going to get more efficient, but as of today, they're very, very inefficient, right? So that was the context of the overall bridge space. So I'll tell you a little bit more about router. So we've been around for close to 2 years now, right? We've been probably after ThoughtChain the earliest team working with the bridging space. We actually cracked the cross-chain asset transfer and asset swap problem in Q1 2021, a while ago. But we foresaw a lot of the security issues that has led to a lot of these hacks, right? I mean, you name any bridge out there, Wormhole, Layer 0, Synapse, they've all been hacked, right? I mean, for various amounts, no matter the most recent one. And it's, it pains me to say this, but we actually said so internally at least, right? Again, it sort of goes back to my earlier point around design constraints that we made around, not just us, but the whole overall dev community has made around the security architecture, right? So we've been at this for a while. We raised a small round last year. We've been funded by Coinbase, UCP, Alameda, Shima, some of the big names out there. As of today, we have two broad product buckets. One is Voyager, and the other is the crosstalk library, right? What's Voyager? Voyager is our, think of Voyager as a cross-chain 1-inch. You can go to Voyager and take your assets across chains. You can swap across chains, right? You can swap token A from Ethereum to token B on Polygon. So there are almost 11 chains right now, non-EVM chains coming on tap. We're probably the fastest in terms of cross-chain swaps. We have our own proprietary pathfinder, meaning it finds the best path across chains on top of the 1-inch algorithm. It's completely permissionless and it's been audited by the usual suspects. It's live. Since we launched in June, 3 months ago, we went live. We got 21K plus unique users, 85K plus cross-chain transactions, more than $500 million in trading volume and more than 60K collected in fees now. I've got another question for you. For the $500 million in trading volume, anybody who wants to take a guess what our TVL is on a current basis? Anybody? Let me give you the answer. I mean, we've got less than 500K in TVL for $500 million in trading volume, right? So it goes to show you don't need TVL for a bridge to be successful, right? The other product we have is a crosstalk library. It's an extensible cross-chain framework. We enable seamless transactions across multiple chains. The idea is you already have a dApp or you are building a dApp and you want to sort of expand the power of the dApp beyond the chain that you know, right? And that's where you can use router to instantly go multi-chain. That's the attractiveness of crosstalk. What are our plans for the next few months and years? Router V2 launch is going to be critical because, as I mentioned earlier, the security assumptions are still very preliminary for all chains. So we're going to significantly re-architect the security framework of the router chain, of the router architecture. We're going to be spending a lot of time connecting non-EVM chains, the Algorands, the Solanas, the Cosmos. Most importantly, we're going to develop an overarching open source developer tooling kit, right? Because community is everything, right? So, quick summary of what we've covered in the last few minutes. Fragmented blockchain ecosystems, hamper efficiency. Therefore, that has led to a number of bridges coming through, right? The current version of bridges are very rudimentary. It's a bit like the Wright brothers in the first plane. All the names that you see today are going to be like the first version of the Wright brothers planes. In a couple of years, you will see the next batch of bridges that will be like the Hindenburgs, the Zeppelins, right? And then you'll see in a few years the mature steady-state bridges, which will be like the current cross-Atlantic, cross-ocean aircraft, right? So it will be far safer, far more robust ecosystem. And I think we still have some ways to get there. Lastly, TVL is a completely irrelevant metric. So if somebody tells you, come build on my bridge because I have $1 million in TVL, they're fooling you. And lastly, this is some shots from our roundtable offsites. We have a team of 40 plus people spread across Dubai, Singapore, India, US, and we are hiring. We're growing fast. These are my socials. If you are interested, hit us up. Love to talk to you. Thank you very much.